What's good, everybody? This is Solus Convoy back again with another review. Today we're going to be looking at Newage H46W Backdraft, their version of G1 Artfire, which is, if you guys know, just a classic repaint of the Generation 1 Inferno toy, who is a target master and gets made every single time an Inferno toy gets made. It's like the most common Inferno repaint, other than Grapple, who's a retool. So yeah, that's this character. Very quick look at the box. Classic Newage Legendary Heroes box. G1 toy style artwork based on the figure itself. The ID. Promo shots, etc. So, right into it, off the bat, I think the sculpt on this figure is pretty great. It's got that, like, aspect of the G1 Cartoon Inferno design where he's got like a stout torso but lanky limbs. He doesn't end up being like overly skinny because you have to balance the lanky skinny limbs with the stout torso, and I feel like sometimes you get Infernos and Grapples that are just skinny, or they're just stout, or they're just really buff, and you know who you are. So this is one of those Infernos that I think like MP33 hits like a nice balance of being both stout and lanky. The sculpt on the Target Master is also pretty good. He's so tiny. I mean, literally, what are you going to do about it? But as good as it can be, visible ball joints is whatever at this size. I don't really have a complaint there. The waffling on the gun barrel is kind of but it's so small. So yeah, sculpt is good. Paint and tampos look great. I love the toy-inspired tampos. I think that my favorite are probably these on the bicep. Those look really good. They just take up that space really well. They really give some contrast to the constant red, like the gray on the forearm, the silver on the shoulder, the gorgeous metallic blue on those headlights, the gorgeous metallic blue on his eyes. I mean, the paint work real here is real good. I mean, really good, and it'll contrast great with that painted white, and there's not a lot of mismatch issues because the white plastic and the white are never really in the same perspective. They're so separated. So it's a pretty great use of paint and color, especially since matching white is really hard. I love these details on the hips. I think those look great. And the ones on the shins are the only tampos that are giving me some pause. I think that they look a bit... The sizing is wrong, but it's accurate to the toy, so I can't really complain. And the tampos on the feet look fantastic. So, again, looking great. That Autobot symbol does not come applied. I applied that myself thanks to a Shozy sticker sheet. So, yeah, that does not come applied. But... you know, that's a space where you could put one. Just need tweezers because that is a very small sticker. Let's get right into his accessories off the bat since I have one equipped. So one of his only accessories is this nozzle, and basically the nozzle is, well, you know, Inferno's classic nozzle. He sprays fluids out of it, usually water or like fire extinguisher foam. You can just pop it right off and replace it with either another holding / fist hand or with one of his open hands. Unfortunately, despite the fact that Newage had the mold for the hinged open hand at this time, they didn't use it on this exact figure, which is a shame, I think. But they've made that a consistent thing now. This is a figure from, I think, mid-22. I don't really remember. This is a very late review. But I would have liked the hinged open hands. But it's not a end-of-the-world type thing. They just would have been nice. I wonder if they'll make like a pack of those later that you could buy. But I doubt it. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. Accessories are pretty bare bone. You get 2 pairs of these fist trigger hands, which is different from Newage's regular fist. Because if you notice... sorry, it won't focus, but I hope that it's obvious or apparent at least that there's like a bit of a difference in sculpt, because Newage's regular fists are built like G1 toy fists, and they're just like circles, but this has like a bit of a slope to it to represent like a trigger finger. So yeah, but other than that, very basic accessories. The only accessory that's like really a game changer here is very much Nightstick. Newage doesn't have a name for him, so we're just going to call him not Nightstick or Nightstick. But the transformation for the Target Master is fairly simple. It's just rearranging ball joints. That's the only reason I'm doing it. I don't normally do transformations to save time, but I figure this one is not really that much of an issue. It's not hard per se, it's just annoying because of the size and the fact that you know that it's really easy fundamentally. It's just hard because he's tiny. But yeah, that's his gun mode. It looks like a object with a barrel. I can't really complain. Working Target Masters at this scale is very cool, especially one that is fully posable, more so than your most modern core class figures. And he can hold Nightstick just fine. He can point and shoot with Nightstick. So yeah, looks good. In terms of posability, let's start with Nightstick, because his posability is literally all of his transformation joints. And transforming him back to robot mode takes quite literally 5 seconds, because it's just flipping him in half. Tabbing things in is just annoying because you have to line up ball joints. But Nightstick here, no articulation at the head. I think. I really don't see. No, I don't think so. I tried and it didn't budge, so either it's frozen or there's no head articulation, which is honestly fine at this size. Let me move you out of the way so the camera can focus on Nightstick. Universal ball joint shoulders, up 90, 360 around. Universal ball joint elbows, so 360 bicep swivel, 90 up for the elbow joint. Universal ball joint hips, so beyond 90 in each direction actually, which is nice. Universal ball joint knees, so yeah, 360 thigh swivel, a little bit past 90 knees. And then the ankles, make sure they focus, they go boop, 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 and boop. So, about 15 degrees in each direction. More than enough, I think. Ankle tilts in a figure of this size is kind of crazy. Let's put Nightstick aside, bring back Inferno. Right off the bat, one articulation point this figure doesn't have. His head is on a swivel, which means no ball joint, and so no head tilt, no head up and down. Unfortunate, but it's a consequence of that bracket head design that all Infernos have. So yeah, 360 head swivel. This little thing is on an up and down if you want to pose it. Elbows go out to about 90. It's because of the design. They're literally like slanted. But if you just tuck this in, you do get 360 elbow rotation. Shoulder. The actual elbows, right, go past 90, and you do have a 360 bicep swivel and a 360 wrist swivel as a result of it being interchangeable on a peg. You do have a waist swivel that gets you about 25 in either direction, or 30, 40. It's not bad, but it's a bit compromised. I think if you engage the joint that nobody talks about, which is his ab crunch, it doesn't free up the waist swivel. Okay, but yeah, he does have an ab crunch. Just people don't talk about it because they don't use it apparently. You have to be careful. You could scratch the paint here if you push too far with this. That's just a cautionary tale. Universal ball joint hips, they get you up to here. If you tilt them out, you can get further. And then they get you 90, and they go back. And then double jointed knees along with a thigh swivel. So very nice. I like these knees. Just be careful when you're pushing the back end. They don't go in like this. They have to just make sure you go in like that. But yeah, very nice knees. I like them, especially how they're like, the sculpt seems to be maintained at least until here, which is great. I love that. The feet on this figure are really nice and really posable. He gives you your classic 90-degree ankle tilt, which is really nice. And then you do get some toe bend forward, which is great. Not a lot, but more than enough. and you do get a tiniest bit of toe bend back. But what this figure also has is, not only does he give you like a little bit of reverse ankle tilt by himself, he also has a second panel for transformation in his feet, which you can use to like fake a reverse ankle tilt, I guess, which can help you get him into like a walking pose or something. So yeah, posability is great, love it, more than enough for a character like this. Feels fun, no loose joints, stable, solid, rock sturdy, paint's great. So for the bot mode overall, looking great. Let's move on to the alt mode, and then from there the final thoughts. So really quickly, here are some bot mode size comparisons. We have Nightstick with one of my previous reviews, Newage's Shattered Glass Bumblebee. So you can see he's even much tinier than that guy, so crazy. And then you have Artfire and Hasbro's Legacy Velocitron Crasher. Alright, so here he is in his alternate mode. Size comparisons with Hasbro's G2 Legends Tank Megatron, my previous review, Newage Tata, and Legacy Shadow Strip. So yeah, I don't know how well he scales with Tata, but I'm pretty sure he's too small. It doesn't matter. It's more to the newer figures anyways. Tata's an older New Age release, so I think they've changed their all mode scale to just focus on Toon bot mode scale. It looks good though. No major complaints. I think the ladder in my shots I took for this figure, I didn't fold out this part because I don't like the divot that it has. It's kind of ugly and it has a tendency to bend. So not the perfect thing, but I understand because of the sacrifices they had to make for the robot mode that the alt mode isn't going to be perfect. I do like the painted detail. Some of those tampos still show up. Some of the paint apps still show up. And I like the general color scheme, and I love the red rims. They really do add a lot to this figure. It does look pretty good. And here's Nightstick for scale. He's definitely too big. So yeah, on to the final thoughts. So, final thoughts to wrap this video up. I think that this is a pretty good release by Newage. I like this mold, I like this deco, I like these tampos. I don't know if it's the best version of the mold. I don't really care to determine. There was a point in time where I would have said this was one of Newage's best molds, but I think over time I've come to realize that it does have flaws, and I realize why people don't like them. For example, the glossy chest window, or the chest window being a very transparent plastic instead of being frosted, allows you to see the inner assembly parts, and it's not great. So I understand why people were also upset that like they finally got it right by the time they rolled around to the bulkhead retool, and by that time people were kind of tapped out of the mold in general. It's just a really minor issue that brings down a really, really good release. I think if they'd worked a way to engineer a neck in, this would have been perfect. I don't have any other issues with this. It's basically the perfect G1 cartoon Legends Inferno mold, and as an Artfire toy, fantastic. Like, I think this will be the Artfire to beat. The decos, the tampos, all that stuff that's crucial to Artfire is preserved here. I do like how they use the Toon head instead of the toy head, actually, because Artfire is more of like a Toon character who uses toy mode tampos by now because of his appearance like in package art and manga and stuff like that. So he's not just a toy character, but I think in his media appearances he maintains the tampos, which Inferno doesn't. So I think that's pretty cool. The mold's posable, it's well toleranced, it's built well, it's fun to transform. The transformation is extremely simple. It just like has a bit of an order of operations thing where it'll go smoother if you do it in a certain way, but even if you do it out of order, it still works. There's no part flexing, there's no clearance issues, there's no parts that are too tight to pop out or pop in. It's just overall really fun to do. Again, head swivel and chest window, pretty much the only issues. One subjective qualm I have is that sometimes the fire truck mode is a bit of a annoying to line up because the assembly the arm is on ball joint. So like again, lining up ball joints not the best experience in the world when they don't tab into anything. So if there was a way the shoulders could have like locked into alt mode position, that would have made it perfect. Nightstick is perfect. I have no issues. I have no problems with Nightstick. It's fine. It's not a single pin in his body. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, overall, a really good release. I think if you're interested in it, it's worth tracking down, worth picking up a version of this mold to have. I definitely think it's one of those molds that every Legends collector should experience. In its variety of flavors, right? You have Bulkhead, you have this, you have Toy, Inferno, and Grapple. Weird they're a 2-pack, but I'm not going to expand on that. The Toon version is obviously transparent, shattered glass, etc., etc., etc. So there's a lot of variety here, so I think enjoying one won't be bad. I still really like this mold. Is it my favorite mold from Newage? No, at one point it may have been. I think Sludge has taken that now, but I definitely still think it's one of Newage's best releases. I'm only criticizing it a lot because I like it a lot, I pose it a lot, I play with it a lot, so I have criticism for it because I really enjoy messing with it and I can easily see how it can be even better. So yeah, all in all, if I was to recommend this figure, I'd say highly recommended if you're into G1 toys or G1 designs in general. If you're looking to get into Legends, this is a great entry mold. Especially if you can get Artfire for close to retail, around $50. You also get a Target Master, which is pretty good value because Nightstick is genuinely good for his size. So definitely look into this guy. Don't hesitate to pick him up. Thanks for stopping by. I look to catch you guys in the next review. Peace out.